On this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to add another extra outlet inside your room without having to run any electrical wire, without cutting the drywall or putting a new electrical box, just by using your light switch right here. So stay tuned. Hi friends, welcome back to Fix This House. If you're new to the channel, consider pressing the subscribe notification bell so you can always be in tune on DIYs, how-to videos, and product reviews that I do within this channel. Just a quick disclaimer, we are going to be working with electrical components today on this video. My electrical codes and your electrical codes might be different, so always make sure you're always up to date with your current electrical codes and you have the proper permits. Please turn off the power from your circuit breaker before working with any type of electricity, and if you are uncomfortable and unconfident with working with electrical work, please hire a certified, qualified electrician. With that being said, my full disclaimer is in the description down below. Let's get started with today's video. As you already know, I use this mock-up quite often when I'm doing most of my electrical work demonstrations. So if you're interested in my other electrical videos, check out my electrical video playlist and I'll leave it right here on this corner. I am going to be showing how easily you can add an electrical outlet without having to rewire or cut any drywall or whatnot, just by gaining access to one of your light switches right here. So it has to be a light switch. So this one, I have it already wired in, powered on. So let's get to it. And I'm going to be using this combination outlet switch receptacle. This mock-up is powering that light right up there. The very first thing you want to do is you want to shut off the power from your main circuit breaker. Get your flathead screwdriver and take out the cover. This is a voltage tester. All you have to do is turn it on. So if you didn't turn off your circuit breaker and there's still power on this, it will beep like this. All the materials and tools that I use in this video, I'll leave the link on the description down below, and I'll leave a similar voltage tester down below as well. So now that we shut off the power from the main circuit breaker, we want to test it once again with our voltage tester. And once again, there is no more power going into that line. We want to remove this light switch connected by these two screws right here. Now typically you would probably use a Phillips head or a flathead screwdriver to take these out. But what if I told you that using this combination screwdriver will be the easiest way to do? And it's pretty much, it looks like this. It looks like a Robertson head bit with some wings. And you can easily see how well it fits in there. And you can take it out easily. So you just want to pull this out and you're going to come across all these wirings right here. So in this example, I'm going to be showing you this on a single pole switch scenario right here, where you have two black wires going to one side. There's no white wire connected to this, and there's only a ground wire on the other side. Let's go and disconnect these two black wires and the ground wire. This is where the combination screwdriver really shines, because it fits really, really well onto the terminals and it doesn't slip. Loosen up the ground wire. Now that you have the two black wires here, you don't know which one is the line or the load. I'm going to be showing you that later on. But first, before we go to that, let's go and take out the rest of the wire out so we can kind of see what's going on inside this J-box. So in this example, what I have here is two neutrals together, three ground wires. Now this ground wire we're going to connect to the new device, and this too as well. We're going to be replacing the single pole switch that we just took out to this outlet and switch combination, also known as a combination device. This is tamper resistant. This is great if you have children like me, which they can't go and tamper onto there. But this one specifically is by Eaton, and if you look in the back, it looks like this is a commercial grade. It looks really, really well built. And there's also, what's great about this, it has these back wiring options where you don't necessarily have to go and loop it around the terminals. You can just go and stick it back there, which will have a nice connection. And under right here, you have the silver, you have two blacks, and you have one brass, and you have a ground wire. Now this one is by Eaton. If you're interested on this specific model, I'll leave the link on the description down below and you can get yourself one of this. Now let's go back to these two black wires right here. Let's just say you don't know which one is the line or which one's the load. Line means that is where the power is coming from the circuit breaker. Load is where it's feeding off to the light fixture. So let's just determine which one is which and we'll label it accordingly. This part is very, very important. You will have to go and turn on the circuit breaker breaker back on, but make sure that you have this well guarded and there's nobody around that they can accidentally touch these. Again, be very, very careful. Do this at your own risk. So if you're comfortable in doing this, you can actually do it the other way where the light switch is actually still on, and you can test it with your voltage detector, which one is the line or the load, and you can still figure it out that way. Again, if you have a multimeter, you can use that as well, or a voltage meter where you can go and test out each one. You can go that way, but since if you already have one of these, why not just use this? This one right here beeping is the one coming from the circuit breaker, and this one is the one coming from the light. All right, so we turned off the power from the circuit breaker once again. I know there's a lot of back and forth on this, but again, you want to be safe. Let's take out our voltage tester once again, and you see that there's no power anymore feeding to any of these wires if you want to go check. So I'm just going to label it right here so that you know which one is hot and you don't forget. We'll take this off later on after we go and attach it to the combination switch. Right here you can see that there is a brass, there's two blacks, there is a silver and a ground. Now since there's a silver right here, that is where the neutral wire comes in play. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a neutral wire feeding to this neutral line right here. The easiest way to do that is just installing a pigtail. A pigtail is pretty much just a piece of the neutral wire that you cut right here, and we're going to pigtail it and feed it to this line right here. There is a strip gauge right there. You're just going to place it right on the back, and now you know exactly how much you have to strip. Easiest way to put this on is to put it on the back wiring method. Now you don't have to necessarily put a shepherd's hook. The easiest way and the strongest connection will be putting this on the back right there. Backstabbing is totally different from back wiring. Backstabbing is, for example, you're going to feed it through these holes from this old switch, not from the back wire. They're completely two different things. What's great about this screwdriver is that you can tighten this really, really tight so you know for sure that you have a nice tight connection. If you have neutral wires that have wire nuts on them, you can just take them out like this and expose them. Get your lineman's pliers and just untwist these. What you want to do now is you want to cut these two tips of copper right here so you can get fresh new copper. Just grab your lineman's or your wire cutters and just cut off the tips right there. There's two ways you can connect all three of these together. You can either go back to the wire nut method, or you can use my favorite, which is the Wago 221's easy lever wire connectors. So all you gotta do for these ones is you can either go and install it like that, have all of these going all in one wire connector. Easy, see? And if you're interested on these Wagos, I'll leave this on the link down below as well. If you want to go use the wire nuts, you can definitely do that. Let's put these together. I also like to use, and it's very handy, is this wire twister bit right here. You can just put it onto your drill and it'll twist the wire with the wire nuts. Hold on to the wires and just go like this, and it will twist like that. Like that. Easy. This, I'll leave the link in the description down below if you want yourself one of these pretty cool tools. We're going to take the ground wire now. Now this was one from the last single pole switch. We're just going to reuse it. When you're putting these on the wire terminal, make sure it's going onto a clockwise position. I'm going to be going with the load one, not the one with the hot where the power is coming. We're going to do that last. So we're going to put that aside. We're going to put the load wire onto this brass terminal. So lastly, we are going to be doing the hot line. So we're going to be taking this label off. Cut that off. Now if you look at the very back of these two black terminals, you can see that it's labeled line. So it doesn't really matter which ones you put the hot wire onto. The only one that matters is if you want to control this independently with a light switch, then you can take off and break off this tab right here. But in this case, we're going to keep that connected, so either one of these will work. We can connect the hot to any of these. Like what I do with all my electricals, I do a quick recap. If you want to skip through all this, you don't have to watch this part, but I like to go over all the connections and where they're going. So again, we have the neutral wire, pigtailed, going to the neutral bundle right here. We got the ground wire, pigtailed, going to the ground bundle. We were going to this side. We already determined that this top black wire is the one that's going to the light fixture. So that's going to the brass terminal. Now going to the black terminals, we already determined that this is the hot wire, meaning that this is the one that's going or coming from the circuit breaker. So that one you can attach to any of these as long as the tab is connected right here. This is going to be continuously powered on. So with that being said, now we can go and shove all these wires neatly going back inside the J-box. Definitely mess up your finger getting caught on these wires and these edges. So what's a great help is this volt claw tool, which you can use. It's non-conductive, and you can use this to push and orientate all these wires accordingly. If you're not going to be using a terminal, just like what you see here, always tighten that down. Let's turn on the power back from the circuit breaker. You can either use voltage tester or one of these outlets tester as well. Either or will work. Let's try both. Let's put this in. You can see that it's beeping. There is now power feeding through there. Both of the lights are on, meaning that it is correct. So place this back on, nice and flush right there. So here you go, friends. Let's test it out now. As you can see, the light switch is on. You can control it, and at the same time, you can go and plug this in, and you have the power still on. So at the same time, once you turn this off, the power on the outlet is constantly on. So again, that's the easiest way you can add an extra outlet inside your room without having to cut any drywall, having to run any wire, or putting any new electrical boxes, just by going and tampering inside one of your light switches, as long as you have a neutral wire inside that electrical box. Again, friends, if you have any questions on any suggestion that I could have done differently, or you have any other way of doing it, please leave a comment on the description down below, share with the community, and if you found this video super helpful, please hit that big thumbs up, press the subscribe notification bell, and I'll see you friends on the next video.